Welcome to today's Facebook Live. Thank you for tuning in and joining me today. We are covering various topics, questions that came in from everybody, and I am just getting back into the swing of things with our back to school routine and healthy lifestyle. I'm making some changes in my diet and exercise routine. So I'm excited to be talking about some of those things with you guys here today. So as people are joining on, be sure to leave in the comments where you're from. Gianna or Gionia Curtis is watching. I'm not quite sure how to say your name. Thank you for being here. So I'm excited just to do some mom talk and hang out with everybody today. Brigetti is joining us. Kathy, hello. It's good to see you. So I am just getting back into the swing of things over here at our new house, and this property is just really growing on me. I'm really loving the neighborhood and the community. Paula is joining us. It's good to see you. And Laura is joining us from Ontario. Good to see you. Jenna is joining us from Mount Pleasant, Utah. Hello, Jenna. And Tina is tuning in from the UK. Violet Joy, that is a beautiful name, is watching. And Jennifer is from Washington State. Bernadette is joining us from Pennsylvania. It's good to see you. And Christine Elizabeth, it's good to see you on here as well. Caitlin, hi Jamie from Florida. Hello to you too. And Sherry is joining us from Orlando. Therese is just tuning in. Fitzgerald, it's good to have you guys on here. Good afternoon from Wisconsin. And Natalie is joining us from Colorado. Okay, so lots of questions, lots of things to cover today. My kids are at their dad's house right now, and so the house is just kind of quiet. It's kind of nice. Eve is joining us. It's good to see you on here as well. Okay, so one of the questions that was asked is from Angel Girl 0104 and Connie. How have the girls liked having their triple bunk beds? I think we are all adjusting. The girls do love having more freedom to play in their room, and by clearing up the beds that were on the floor, like they have so much more room to play. So I really love it. Some of the kids were a little hesitant, like Lily. She wasn't too sure about sleeping on the bottom of the bunk because she said the bed like wiggles every time her sisters move when everyone's trying to fall asleep. But Lily is the one that most frequently comes into my bed at night for a snuggle, and so I felt like having her on the bottom would just be a better idea. Violet loves decorating, so her bunk bed, like if we go in there, right now she has like all of her jewelry hanging from all these random places of her bunk bed, and then she's made herself some curtains out of like these silk things that we have from Sarah's Silks off of Amazon. I really love those silk scarves you can play with. And so they're just decorating and making a house a home, and maybe they're just mimicking me as a mother, because I just like the moment I move into a new space, I just love creating a space to call home and that functions well and that's beautiful. So it's been fun to see just how they are adjusting. So they do love their new bunk beds. Daisy is on the top, so it goes Daisy, then Violet, then Lily. And the girls are adjusting, you know, to a new routine. So they're happy. I think the boys are jealous that the girls have a bunk bed, and they keep saying, how come we don't have a bunk bed? So I don't know, part of me is this close to selling their beds, the boys' beds, on Facebook Marketplace and getting them bunk beds. I just am not a fan of changing out sheets. I think with transitions, sometimes I just have to change the sheets, if you know what I'm saying, just a little bit more often with some of the little kids. But they are getting the hang of things and getting into our new routine. So it's going well. I'm loving decorating this space and creating a home. It's just so fun. I think even since the time I was a little girl, I've always loved to create beautiful spaces. It's just something that makes my heart happy. I remember like when my dad would take us fishing, my sister and I would always be found like creating a beautiful like fort or space or something with flowers, always, every time. So anyway, but yeah, bunk beds are hard to change. I'm not a fan. I've not really needed to change the girl sheets yet. Chris just mentioned you should try Betty's Bedding. I have considered Betty's Bedding. It is a little bit more pricey, but I don't know, with a coupon code, maybe it wouldn't be too bad. They have a lot of options that are really pretty and flattering. And so I would love to try that. Love watching your beautiful family. Been watching since the beginning. Thank you so much. Audrey, you need Betty's on those bunk beds. Everybody's talking about Betty's beds. I should look into that a little more seriously. It would be really nice. So Betty's beds, if anybody, this isn't sponsored, have wondered what Betty's beds are, they are like the coolest invention ever. They're out of northern Utah, and they are beds that, like bedding that you just unzip and you zip, so you can just wash what you need to wash. And they're really aesthetically pleasing colors. I think they're really pretty. Good evening from Birmingham, England. Linda, it's good to see you as well. So yeah, I'm liking the bunk beds. And as far as like townhouse living, I think bunk beds really are the way to go. It was really important to me when choosing and selecting a bed that I was still able to tuck in my kids and snuggle them each one by one. That's so important in our family each and every night. And so I did find a bed. It was a triple bunk bed from Home Depot. I think it was like $600. It was just the best deal, hands down, that I could find. It came shipped straight to my front door, which I loved. It was easy to put together, or at least I heard it was easier to put together from Chad and the kids that put it together while I was sick that day. And it's a color that could work well in a boys' room or a girls' room. I wanted like a light gray color that matched with the bedding that we already had. And anyway, I'm loving this triple bunk bed. So yeah, they are just loving it. Cardsfan76 asked, have all the quintuplets lost a tooth? And somebody just asked, have you shown the outside of your home yet? I don't think I have. I should give you guys a tour and a vlog. The outside, like the backyard, is just like this little patio. So I do want to decorate for fall and just create like a cozy little place where the kids can go take a break and get some fresh air when they need to take a break from each other. But it is a cute little property and I really am loving it. So as far as the quintuplets losing a tooth, I love it when you guys send the stars because I never know like what is going to happen. The funniest things happen sometimes. So everybody has not lost a tooth. Logan has not lost a tooth yet. And Daisy is this close. She's probably going to lose it at her dad's this week is my guess, because it was just hanging by a thread when I sent her off to her dad's house. So she probably will lose it here in the next few days. So yeah, it'll be fun. And I love it when my kids lose a tooth and then they talk with that little lisp, like Violet right now and Lincoln. It's just darling. The way they speak is so cute. Lily has had all 4 of her 2 front teeth and their bottom 2 front teeth come in now. So she looks just so much older than the other quintuplets right now. It's so weird how having those big girl teeth come in, you know, like it just changes what your child looks like. But she's really proud of that. So yeah, so Daisy is up next for losing a tooth. Jennifer asks, are the Quints still doing voice lessons and are they enjoying it? The girls have just had a voice lesson just the one time during the summer with Mina. So for those of you that have been watching for a super long time, Melissa is a really good musical teacher, like singing voice lesson teacher. And the girls really enjoyed it. So I need to call her and schedule now that I know the weeks that I'm going to have my kids. Because Skylar and I switch off spending our parent time with the kids every other week. Jennifer, let's see, she just asked that. Caitlin HM93 asked, do the quintuplets ever get sad and scared about anything? And if so, what? I found it really curious that Lily was so excited about our last vlog. Like if you haven't watched it, you want to go watch it. It is a little bit slower paced of a vlog, but I wanted to capture everything. So the quintuplets got to go visit some reptiles and learn a little bit more about living in southern Utah. And so it was really an educational field trip that we did. So the kids got to, if they wanted to, hold a snake. We saw scorpions. We saw, I don't know if it was a salamander or a gecko, I'm not sure. Tarantulas and tortoises. And Lily was like super interested, which was crazy to me. So she was really curious about the snake. So she pet the snake. Violet did. She was interested in learning about the snake just a little bit. Lincoln surprised me though. I thought Lincoln would be all over it. And he was like, no, not interested in touching that snake or the tarantula. But Logan surprisingly was really brave. And he had that tarantula just walking like all the way up to probably his, elbow. Let's see. I love that they get to see the snakes and the spiders, learning to not be afraid. Yes. I think learning how to be courageous and learning to try new things and learning that these insects and creatures and reptiles live in our desert and how to show respect to them are all great things that those kids learned on our field trip. And we've seen, I think, 3 scorpions at my house at this point. We did have one scorpion that was inside with its tail raised, and all the Quints came and got me, and they were like, Mom, there's a scorpion in our house. We need you to take care of it. So I did call On Target Pest Control here in Southern Utah. They're amazing. They came right out. So they sprayed just today. So hopefully we don't have any scorpions in our house unless they're dead ones. I did see like a big, let's see, probably about that big, oh, sorry, wolf spider at our house in the garage last night. So I really want to make sure that we are bug free in this house because those things just creep me out. But yeah, it's been fun just to see. So as far as like things that they get scared or sad about, each child is so very different. And I think as they get older and they develop and they understand the world around them a little bit more, those things kind of change. But definitely like creepy crawlies and like reptiles, that was interesting to see who loved it, who didn't, who was willing to hold them, who wasn't. I think Logan's favorite part was probably being right next to the little tortoise. The way that they have things set up, it's almost like a rehabilitation center for reptiles and things that they find in our local community. And so they're temporarily rehoused and then hopefully set back into the wild, like once they've learned those skills to be able to survive on their own. So it was really cute and sweet to see Logan in my Instagram stories and Facebook stories. I shared that. Just get so excited about reptiles. He was really curious. That was fun. Sades96 asked, what happened to all the videos from when the quintuplets were babies? So if you go back to my original Facebook page, you will find all of the videos on there. As far as the YouTube channel, if you're not following, it's 5 to Love or Jamie Scott found on YouTube. I need to post and re-put up like all of the kids' baby videos because some of those were just like the sweetest moments. So I think it might be fun to do like a throwback in a vlog and talk about some of my favorite moments and share that footage again with you guys because it has been quite the journey the last 6.5 years. Okay, Bridget Metzner asks, have you thought about putting the kids in Girl Scouts or a Boy Scouts troop? I have considered it. The cool thing about the church that I belong to, it's the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. They have an organization for younger kids and older kids. And so they teach those same principles and good morals and values to my kids. And so when my kids turn about 8 years old, they'll be involved in, I think they call it activity days for both boys and girls. And as they get older, it's called Young Men's or Young Women's program. And they teach just important things. They have activities once a week that my kids will get to go to. So it's kind of the same concept. So I don't think I'll be doing the official Girl and Boy Scout troops. But as far as like my church congregation, they do a lot of activities that the kids can get involved in, which is really cool. Both Shayden and Landon were involved in the scouting program when they were younger. But as my kids got older, it just got a little bit trickier with extracurricular activities because things are planned during the same time frame. So anyway, I know my kids are gonna be really excited once they turn 8 years old and they get to be involved in those programs. Gina Marie Granada asks, what is your favorite fall tradition when it comes to cooking and baking? I love filling my house with those warm fall fresh scents, things that have cinnamon, allspice, nutmeg, those kinds of things. I really love eggnog, and I do make a homemade eggnog that my dad taught me. It's probably not like necessarily like the best to drink because it does have raw eggs, but I really do love that. As far as fall baking, I love anything that's like pumpkin spice. With cream cheese. I love making muffins and breads and cookies, cinnamon rolls, that sort of thing. So I may share some recipes here and there within vlogs and over on my Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram, you might want to head on over there. I do post extra content there. It is jamie.scott. You can find me there. So as far as like baking, Landon's really been craving baked salmon, like a lemon spicy salmon. I'm not a fan of fish, and I have come a long way. And if it's seasoned right, I can't really taste the fish. So that is a new recipe I'll probably be sharing within a vlog soon. It's really healthy, it tastes really good, and it tastes really fresh. But yeah, this is usually the time of year when I spend the most time cooking and baking. So I'm happy to share those recipes with you guys. Rhonda Moneysmith asks, what do you do for me time after the kids go to bed? Typically, once the kids go down, my nightly routine is I snuggle each of the kids for a few minutes before they fall asleep. I sing them like a little song if they ask, or tell them a bedtime story. Lately, my kids are like, what? Like, tell us about when you were a little girl. And so oftentimes that's a question that the girls are asking. Tell us about when you were young. And so it's fun to share those stories, make those connections with my kids, and bond right before they go to bed. And just hold them. So once I get the kids down, I usually tidy up the kitchen. Since dating Chad though, he's like the man when it comes to like tidying up and cleaning house at the end of the night. So we kind of tag team it. He comes over after work. So tidying up the kitchen, and then I usually spend time with my olders. Now it's just Landon who's at home, so spending time with Landon. I like watching TV. I have not had internet or TV for a good couple weeks. So I was with Quantum Fiber, and I know I'm saying this out loud, but I had really great service, and then after 3 days it stopped working, and nobody would come out to my house to fix the problem for like 2 or 3 weeks. So anyway, that's all I'm gonna say about that. I switched to InfoWest, and as of last night, I now have television, and it is a game changer having quintuplets to be able to gather together in the evenings, watch a show, unwind. So I'm trying to think, what did we watch last night? It was only like probably a few minutes of a television show. It was like a war movie. I didn't watch it with the kids. I watched it with Chad. It's about a soldier. It's the guy that plays Spider-Man, when he was cast against, or with Emma Stone. I don't know, a war movie about a guy that didn't believe in picking up a gun because he was a Seventh-day Adventist or something, based on a true story. So anyway, I'm just talking and rambling, as you guys know, but it's so nice having television. So I love just curling up to read a good book, spending time with my son, spending time with my boyfriend Chad at this point in the evenings. So yeah, as far as me time, like a good green tea face mask, I think I've shared that one before. Sudden Change off of Amazon sells a 2-pack for $9.99, and that stuff lasts me like 6 months. It's so good. So I'm happy to share that product with you guys sometime. But yeah, as far as unwinding, I think reading scriptures, writing in my journal, watching a television show, and spending good time with my family is typically these days how I'm doing me time. Let's see. Our next question is from Cheryl. What do you do when you feel anxious? I'm one of those people that tends to be a person that worries. I worry about my kids. I worry about tomorrow. And I think just like resetting and taking a deep breath and just thinking about the present. Something that I learned from a therapist, years ago about living in the present is that anxiety lies in the future and depression lies in the past. And so staying grounded in the present, going outside today, I did just a hard reset of starting my day off with a smoothie and going for a walk in my new little subdivision that they're building. And I just tried to stay grounded in the present. So I took in the sights, the sounds, the smells, like all of it. And it's interesting when we slow our minds down and we just take a deep breath, or we get outside in nature or go for a walk. Yeah, like Carla says, the meditation that comes from that, where we can just become more grounded as a person. So I noticed on my walk, I noticed the beauty of the trees and the flowers. I noticed the sage tones and the lavenders and the purples that are in bloom right here in southern Utah. So as far as those moments when I tend to feel worried or anxious, Taking a deep breath, right? Like as a mom, if you've got all your kids and they're just like wild or acting crazy or just obnoxious, like taking a breather, sometimes just shutting the door briefly and going into the other room, taking a break, taking a reset has been really helpful for me as a mom of quintuplets. Some of the other things I wrote down, I'm one that like needs to take breaks, like every single day and throughout the day. Just the way I'm wired, I'm really sensitive and an empath, so I feel what my kids feel oftentimes. Listening to good music, that has been something that I've really enjoyed as of late. We've got somebody joining us from Dallas, Texas. Welcome, Patricia. It's good to see you on here as well. Hopefully, Cheryl, that answers your questions. Vanessa626 asked, do you have food allergies too? I do. I did not have any allergies except for cats when I was a little girl at about 6. And then I didn't have any food allergies. Carla says to go into the pantry and shut the door. Yes, the pantry is a great place. I like to eat double stuffed Oreos. And so that is one of my places that I go. Or if I just want to kiss my boyfriend and the kids are all around, sometimes I just sneak into the pantry and I just kiss him real quick. And then, anyway, so yeah, pantries are great for like a plethora of reasons as mothers. Okay, do I have food allergies now? I developed food allergies when Shayden was about 3 years old. I went to a church activity, sampled some different things that some gals had cooked, and I had about that big of a piece of a cookie that contained cottonseed and walnuts in it. It was like a chocolate chip cookie. And I swelled up within 5 minutes. I could barely walk. My skin was like purpley red. And I was sick for like 2 weeks. So that was the first time, and I didn't know what it was that I had eaten. So I had to track down who made the recipe, what was in it. And I realized I was allergic to tree nuts, walnuts. And I thought, oh, I'm just allergic to walnuts and cottonseed. But then after that, quickly, I realized through like breaking out in hives, a little bit of anaphylactic, that I was also allergic to all tree nuts. For a time, I was allergic to peanuts and chocolate. So I went 8 years without eating peanuts and 5 years without eating chocolate. And that was like, when people would say, oh, I'm sorry you have food allergies, I used to say, oh, at least it's not chocolate, until it was chocolate. So I went and saw an allergist here in town named Dr. Pinkston. He's an old chiropractor that turned to, I think it's an Asian form of medicine called NAET. And that fixed a lot of those food allergies. I now eat chocolate every single day. I can eat peanuts, but I'm still allergic to tree nuts like walnuts, pistachios, and almonds severely. So I just avoid those. So yeah, I hope that answers the question that she asked. Okay, we covered those ones. Somebody wanted advice on how to grow their community of followers over on Instagram. Honestly, for me, I find different people that I can follow that have really great tips about that. I just try to be as authentic and real as I can be. This like becoming like known on social media just kind of like fell into my hands because of quintuplets. And I really got my start through Facebook Lives when originally I was married to Skylar, my kid's dad, and my water broke. So that was kind of our story of how we came to be. But advice on growing your followers, I think just being authentic, being real, being yourself, and offering something to your followers is something that's really helpful. It's still weird for me to say the word followers just because I feel like Jesus was known for having followers and I'm not Jesus. But anyway, that's just me rambling. Irene Moore asks, about parenting styles and transitions with the kids. So Skylar and I do parent slightly different because we are different personalities, because we are different people. And so there is going to be that natural transition when it comes to change from one house to the next. It usually takes the kids, the quintuplets, a couple days to just reset as far as like our routine and how we do things in my home. And it's really important to me to teach my children good morals and values and habits, contributing to family life, to their community. And eventually the ultimate goal is to raise them so that they move out of the home and they contribute to society as healthy people and create families of their own that are good, that are healthy, and that they're kind people. And if I could teach my kids anything, I want to teach them empathy. And so those are things that I work really hard in my home to teach my kids. Tabs Nicole 720 asks, do you and dad tell each other when you will be introducing significant others to the littles? I would say no. Our private life is very personal, he and I. And so if he's dating somebody new, the only reason I typically find out is because the kids have come home and talked about this new person that's in their life. And I've not dated a ton of people. My kids have only met the person I first started dating, Austin, who was from Idaho, just a really good person. They only met him one time, and then that was it. As far as Chad, my kids are around him, the person I'm dating now, they're around him a lot. So he comes over after work and spends a lot of time with me, with my kids. I kind of get to see him in all different scenarios, and I get to see how my kids think and feel about everything. And then he goes home in the evening to his place. And so as far as significant others, that's not something that dad and I discuss. And from my knowledge, there's really only been a couple of people, maybe 3 people that my kids have met from their dad. And so far, the 2 people that he's dated have been cool. Like, I like the person that he's dating and getting to know now. And I like that she tells Lincoln that he can't just do whatever he wants. Like, he needs to clean up before they go play and do something fun. I like that. And I think that's healthy. So anyway, hope that answers that question. Diana Bridge asks, is Chad also allergic to other, I don't know how you say this word, ALLIUMS? Things like garlic, etc., or just onions. So Chad is allergic to onions, so I have needed to alter the way I cook certain recipes so that he can eat it because his mouth swells up and he gets really itchy. He isn't allergic to any other foods, to my knowledge. He does have a sensitive gut because he lived 2 years in South Africa on a Mormon mission, and with parasites and just things that you naturally get for some of these missionaries by eating different foods. He just has a sensitive stomach, but he is allergic to, I'm trying to think, what did he tell me he was allergic to? A couple of things. Oh, he's allergic to aloe. So I needed to change some of the soaps I keep in my house because his hands get really itchy and rashy. So yeah, allergies are just something that we already deal with in my home with the quintuplets and with myself. So it's something that we just have to have an awareness of. Jenna says onions. Yeah, I've never known anybody that's allergic to onions, but he is allergic to onions. So little grandma's spaghetti recipe is not really something he can eat. So I just have to omit the onions. So things like salsa, I'm like, he's gonna have to teach me how we make salsa because that's like a key ingredient to a lot of things that I cook with. So that is gonna be something that I'm gonna need to learn about. Jenny Sloan says, looks like your relationship with Chad is getting pretty serious. Would you both consider moving in together? So when we talk about moving in together, we are talking between Chad and I more about the possibility of marriage and if it would be a good fit and things like that. So I personally don't believe in moving in together with somebody unless I'm married. The same goes with premarital relationships. We'll just say that since we do have a younger audience that watches this channel. And so I'm fine with things like hugging and kissing and being affectionate in that way, but also waiting till marriage for those things that are most sacred. Somebody asked, what is aloe? So things like aloe vera, he's allergic to things that have aloe in it. So in a lot of soaps and in a lot of lotions, sometimes makeup products, they will contain aloe. And so those are just things that he avoids. And so those are gonna be things that I'm gonna have to learn about as I get to know him a little bit more because he is becoming a part of my life and my family's life. Let's see, I answered that one. Colleen asks, how do all the kids get along with your new boyfriend? Each of the kids are really, really different in the way that they process the world around them. They really love Chad. At first, Daisy wasn't too sure about Chad just because Daisy's a very sensitive child. So she sees the world around her and is just very sensitive. She feels things like I do. She's very empathetic, very sensitive, very kind, and an introvert in a lot of ways. And so when Chad first came into the picture, he's just a very affectionate, kind person. And he is a father. He's raising a couple of girls and a son. And so he would always just place his hand on top of Daisy's head when he would talk to her. And he soon learned that Daisy doesn't like that. She likes her space, and she's the type of person that likes to approach you when she's ready and in her time frame. She's that way with me as her mother. She's that way with her dad. She's that way with siblings. She's that way with her grandmas and grandpas. And so that was something that he had to learn, and Daisy had to learn how to vocalize. When I first said, hey Daisy, what do you think about Mr. Chad? Because originally we'd call him Mr. Chad. She was like, he bothers me. And I was like, what? How does he bother you? And she was like, he's always touching the top of my head. And so we had to talk about that. So now she likes him, and she's happy to just crawl up onto his shoulders because he's really tall when we go on walks and things like that. So each of the kids just have a different relationship as they're getting to know Chad and express it. Like, my kids are very vocal. Logan really likes making paper airplanes with Chad. Lincoln, I'm trying to think, what's Lincoln's thing? Lincoln really likes skateboarding. So if my kids get their chores done and are kind to their siblings and tidy up the home at the end of the evening, Chad will take the kids with me on a walk up and down the street and let the little boys ride skateboards. And then the girls started joining in. So that's like a thing now that they all look forward to, going on walks together. Lily really likes Chad, and there's been moments before she goes to bed at night where she just wants to come and fall asleep just talking to us. And so it's just really sweet. And then Violet, you guys know Violet. She's just spunky and clever and animated and bright. She's funny. Like, she finds him funny. He tells good dad jokes. And so Violet really likes him. And as far as Landon's like, Mom, I just want you to be happy and find somebody that treats you well and treats you good. And I think Chad adds to our life. And that's something that I'm noticing, that my kids, we just have a better quality of life having a two-parent household eventually, hopefully, again. I'm a big fan of a two-parent household, and so he really adds to our family. So we will just have to see in time where it takes us. But I thought you all asked really, really good questions in the DMs today. So I have covered all the questions I think that came in with the DMs. I was gonna share, this is not sponsored, just some of my favorite products and things that I've been trying. I always am interested in what other people are loving. And I have started using, it's called AG1 Athletic Greens, comprehensive and convenient daily nutrition. So I have started adding these to my smoothies in the last couple days because I just felt like I had zero energy. And taking care of a big family, I realized, like, I take care of everybody else, but I don't take care of me very well. And so I was like, okay, I need to do a hard reset because I'm just living off of soda pop and junk food right now with the busyness of moving and school starting again. And so I started introducing these. I've noticed a difference like within the first 10 minutes. It does have B12, tons of healthy stuff in there. I think you can get it online. I just had like a sample box to try that Chad gave me since he works with athletes in our local community. This stuff is amazing. I really love the B12. I like how it tastes when you mix it in with like a green smoothie. And then I started exercising again, going on walks, and I just feel like a healthier, better version of myself. So when my kids get back in a week, hopefully it's just been a good reset with diet, with exercise, and then just adding like a nutritional supplement into my routine is gonna be really helpful. So yeah, that's kind of what we've been up to here at our house. You seem so much happier, which is a good thing. Thank you. I feel happier. I love this new space that we're in. It's light, it's bright, it's cheery. I'm loving getting to know Chad, the person I'm dating right now, and my kids love and adore him too, which is wonderful. So anyway, we are talking about up and coming plans and futures and all of that. So stay tuned as I'm figuring it out as well. But yeah, I just feel happy and I'm excited to create just a beautiful space for us. So if any of you have questions, I'm happy to answer them. Now, I know as I'm talking, I always look down. What are the ingredients of your smoothie? So I keep it really simple. Lincoln is allergic to dairy, or he's sensitive to dairy. And so I always have coconut milk. So I put about a cup of coconut milk mixed in with probably 2 large handfuls of spinach, a half a banana, and then I started adding the supplements. Sometimes I'll toss in peanut butter, sometimes I'll toss in blueberries. I mix that all up and I drink it real fast. We call them monster smoothies at my house because sometimes the kids feel like they need to be brave to drink it, and it's the color green. It looks a little scary. And at first it tastes a little strange, but then you get used to it. So that is what I add to my smoothies. My kids also like making like frozen banana smoothies with ice. And brown sugar and vanilla. They really love simple recipes like that. It's like a treat. Jill asks, is Chad divorced? He is. He has been single now for 6.5 years, I want to say. He has a 21-year-old daughter. He has a 16-year-old daughter and a 14-year-old son that's Landon's age. And we're hoping to get the boys together a little bit more so that they can get to know each other. Chad has a really healthy co-parenting relationship with his former spouse. I've met her on several occasions. She's a wonderful, bright, intelligent person. And I love coming into the picture that these kids have a mother. Like, I don't feel like I need to fill the shoes of anybody else because they have a wonderful person. That's their mom and their dad, and they co-parent and they communicate really well, which is very admirable. Is that the word? So yeah, he is divorced, so he knows what it's like to be married. He knows about family life. He knows about raising both a son and daughters. And one thing I really love about Chad is that he sees each of my kids as different people, aside from being quintuplets, and he sees the needs of each of my children and my older boys, and he acknowledges that. He's just really down to earth, salt of the earth type of a person, and I just really, really admire that. Lots of things I'm getting to know about him that I admire. So yes, he is divorced. Tanya, it's good to see you. She's just jumped on here as well. Jenna, how many kids does Chad have? He has 3 children. He always wanted more kids. And so my family, it's like he gets his wish instantly, but we don't necessarily have to have more kids together to have that. So yeah, I think things are blending really well so far and going really well. Stephanie Browning, it's good to see you. Stephanie Browning, if I remember correctly, you live in Anaheim, California, and Chad is actually gonna go visit there in a couple weeks. We've got different people tuning in from all over the world. It is so fun to see people here. Vicky, it's good to see you on here as well. Okay, well, I am gonna go take sweet Landon, who's been homesick, to his dad's house here in the next little while. But I love spending time with each one of you. You ask such great questions, and I'm so grateful for your continued love and support of my family here with 5 to Love. I do have plans this evening. I'm gonna get together with a girlfriend from my old neighborhood. My friend range is like young to senior citizens. So I'm gonna go meet with a good girlfriend and catch up, since I haven't talked to her in a super long time. And then after that, I'm gonna go attend a September 11th memorial ceremony with Chad this evening. So I'll be at that here in Southern Utah. And I know September 11th brings up a lot of things for a lot of people. And so today is always a day of remembrance. It's a sacred day to me, where we honor those lives that were lost on September 11th and all of the good people that we saw come out of such a horrific tragedy that happened to America. I know that was a hard day for me as a young girl to process. And so for me, September 11th is always a day of remembrance. Somebody just asked, are the bunnies okay? Yes, they're happy, they're healthy. I found a home for the rabbits with my cousin and his wife. And she sent me a picture. The kids are loving taking care of those bunnies. And so anyway, if my kids ever want to see them, we are always welcome over at their house to see them, they said. So yeah, I wish we could have kept the bunnies here at this property, but since we are renting and it is a townhome, I thought those bunnies would be happier and cared for a little bit better at another home. Girlfriends are the best. Somebody just said, yes, I think women just need women. And this gal in particular has just kind of helped me navigate divorce, since she was divorced long ago too. And she now is older and has raised her family. And so she just always has so many words of wisdom, and she's amazing at decorating. So I always ask her advice about home decor and things like that. And she is just amazing at it. So anyway, I'm going to head out here. Love to each one of you. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and I will catch you the next live video. We'll see ya. Bye.